Good evening and a warm welcome from Old Trafford. I'm Ian Dennis. I'm in the company of Izzy Christiansen and Phil Jones here at Old Trafford ahead of this second leg of the semi-final of the Europa League, Manchester United against Athletic Bilbao. And on a clear, bright evening, the fireworks are now let off. Red fireworks all the way around Old Trafford, either side of a huge banner that has been draped down off the Sir Alex Ferguson stand over on the far side that says, "Take me home, United Road." Well, United are actually thinking, take me back to Bilbao, because that's where the final will be held in just under a fortnight's time. And of course they are in such an incredible position really after that 3-0 first leg lead a week ago, the first time that United had actually scored 3 first half goals away in a European tie since the 65-66 season at Benfica. And with such a strong smell of sulphur in the air, it's hard actually to see some of the Athletic Bilbao supporters away towards our right hand side as that red smoke now just hangs in the air. It's a really strong smell of sulphur. Manchester United are unchanged. Onana in goal, Lindelof, Maguire and Yoro, Matsraoui and Dorgo, Casemiro, Ugarte, Fernandes, Højlund and Garnacho. But changes are plenty for Athletic Bilbao. Aguirre Zabala is in goal. Gorosabel comes in at right back. Unai Núñez instead of the suspended Vivian, partners Yeray. Bachiche is at left back. Same central midfield starting duo of De La Galarreta and Auraguifa, but they're without the William brothers as well. So Berenguer will play on the left, Jallo on the right, and Unai Gomez will just slot in behind Marouane Thénardi, the lone striker. Izzy, it's hard to see how Manchester United can throw away such a lead.
Very, very difficult to see it, but this is going to be such a massive test of Manchester United's character resilience, and we've got to expect that Athletic Club are going to start all guns blazing. They're going to chuck the kitchen sink at Manchester United nice and early. They're going to make them defend. They're going to make them suffer. But how can Manchester United react to that and see this out and get themselves to a final?
That's going to be the fascinating aspect as to how the game starts, Phil, isn't it? Because do Athletic Bilbao go after United? When do they press that trigger moment to say, right, we've got to go for it?
I think they need a goal in the first half for sure. If they're going to have any chance of turning this leg around, they're going to have to try and commit bodies forward in the first half. It's when they do that. When did he take the handbrake off? When did he have a good go at United and try and press them high up the pitch? But they do leave spaces in behind. They will be vulnerable to the counter-attack. The likes of Garnacho running in behind on the break in those transition moments can be vital for Man United. So it's a tall order for Bilbao, but they've got a mountain to climb. But I just think United have to stay really nice and calm, composed, manage those moments well, and I think the big players are set up for big games.
Rather than the 8th of May, it smells more like the 5th of November, doesn't it? After all of those fireworks, it's going to take a time for that smoke to actually lift outside of this arena here at Old Trafford that has such an expectant crowd. I'm sure that the clamour for tickets and the clamour for flights and hotels has already started as Manchester United will pose for their team photo in their red shirts and white shorts, as Athletic Bilbao do exactly the same in their change strip, the royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks. I mean, I think they face a hard enough task as it was, Izzy, without the fact that the William brothers are missing through injury. Santet, their leading scorer, is still out. Vivian, we know, is suspended. Unai Simon, the international goalkeeper, doesn't play in this competition, but there are 5 internationals that they're missing in their starting 11.
Yeah, naturally you're going to enjoy looking at that team sheet without those players in it if you're Manchester United, but equally Ruben Amorim referred to it in his press conference yesterday around the unpredictability of the players coming in. It actually might present a bigger challenge than the players who they expected to play, but nonetheless a player of Nico Williams' quality not on the pitch. Manchester United have to try and use that in a very humble way to their advantage.
I have to say, I know that the sending off last week, Phil, was a bit of a changing point, but having watched Yamin Lamal the previous night in the Champions League, Nico Williams didn't seem to cause Manchester United anywhere near that level of problems or threat when he had the ball last week.
Yeah, no, I've got to be honest. I thought Bilbao quite naive in the first leg. I didn't think they posed that much of a threat. I know they had a couple of chances early on in the game, but I thought United controlled the game quite early on. Looked quite calm and composed in possession, and threatening on the break as well. I was quite disappointed with Bilbao, but like I said, they got a mammoth of a task tonight, and hopefully United can get the job done.
It's worth reminding everybody about the statistic that 133 sides in this competition, whether it be the guys of the UEFA Cup or the Europa League, in a knockout tie, when they have won away from home in that first leg by 3 or more goals, all 133 occasions have they progressed. And in fact, in European competition, only one side has ever won a first leg by 3 goals or more away from home and failed to progress, and that was Maccabi Tel Aviv, when they won 4-1 away and ended up losing 6-1 at home after extra time in the 23-24 Conference League. So it is certainly going to be unexpected for Athletic Bilbao as we are underway, and they are playing from right to left as we look as they attack the Stretford end. For those of you who are familiar to Old Trafford, here on Sports Extra and also available on the BBC Sounds app. Berenguer quickly gets it out towards Bachiche. Had that spell on loan at Cheltenham when he was on Tottenham's books a good while ago now. That was between 2007 and 2010. Harry Giefer gets it out towards Yerai. Ball lifted out by Unai Núñez, Spanish under-21 international defender, and then eventually they go up towards Zanardi, and it'll be Yoro who lets it settle and passes the ball towards Lindelof. And now with Mazraoui, made a number of changes against Brentford, but it's an unchanged Manchester United side that was in the Basque region last week, and the captain Fernandes gets it forward on that left-hand side. Still that smoke is lingering in the air here at Old Trafford in the early stages as Bruno Fernandes passes the ball back to Yoro. And this is where there's no pressure for Manchester United, is he, in that sense? They can just be comfortable on the ball.
Yeah, really good start from them, a few minutes in now, and they're already playing with a really good intensity. They've gone after Athletic Club already, pressing high up the pitch, filling spaces. There looks to be a real zip about Manchester United in these early minutes.
The referee is Daniel Seibert from Germany. We've got Tobias Steiler and Christian Dingertz, who are also in attendance tonight, supporting him, whether it be the fourth official or even on VAR duties. As now patches of blue sky emerge, that the smoke is finally starting to lift, particularly in the end at the Stretford end, where Onana received that ball all in green from Lindelof, and then Lindelof looks up and chips the ball away downfield for Højlund to chase, and Højlund will try and hold off the challenge of Unai Núñez, and there was a foul there by Unai Núñez, the central defender, and a free kick for Manchester United.
Yeah, Manchester United using the space and the channels. Athletic Club have to press high. They've got to try and win it up the pitch, and interestingly, watching Ruben Amorim already, he's just asking Rasmus Højlund to work the channels better, and he did really well then, because he got his body in the way, sucked Núñez in, got the free kick, and got Manchester United up the park.
Bruno Fernandes slides it down on this near side the right. Garnacho gives it back to Fernandes. Good ball in, aimed towards Lindelof. Will run out towards Maguire on the far side. Gorosabel got there first. It will be after an Athletic Bilbao throw in. I noticed that you've gone, like Mark Chapman, you've gone more with the hipster's choice of Athletic Club.
Yeah, well, I was just copying what Chapman's done.
Whereas I remember and I referenced this last week about the butcher of Bilbao.
I was listening.
Yeah, so I still remember that team, and that's why I've gone with Athletic Bilbao.
Okay.
As Chris Wilder said, old school is new school.
Okay, I'll go with you then tonight, Dennis.
I mean, Chaffers goes with Milan instead of Milan. You're surely not going to go down that route, are you?
No, I'd never go there.
Izzy Christiansen and Phil Jones, who are with us here on Sports Extra, 0-0, nearly 4 minutes played, and the ball by Yerai is tidied back up to Aguirre Sabala, who is the Spanish goalkeeper, all in orange, and he chips it out towards Bachiche on this near side. Lets the ball settle. Hauragitha is in close proximity, but Bachiche, because of Garnacho and Højlund not that far away, has to go back, and they play it across the back, and then it's forward. And Hauragitha is able to turn left of the centre circle, runs forward and finds a little bit of space. He's now about 35 yards out from goal. He rolls it and just sold Alvaro Jallo a little bit short and just allowed Dorgu to get in.
Yeah, they cut through Manchester United really well there, much to Amarim's frustration, just getting past the midfield far too easily, and luckily for Manchester United they weren't able to find that final pass.
Ball out wide. This is Unai Gomez. His cross is swept to safety by Lindelof. Was expecting Berenguer to go on the left, but he's gone into a more central area. Primarily, if Santhet would be playing, he'd be on the right. So he's very, very versatile, because he started off in a central area last week, then drifted out towards the left-hand side. Jallo can't get past Yoro. Manchester United, though, can't keep the ball, and it will be Yerai who'll just drop back inside his own half. But it's been a decent start by Athletic Bilbao, Phil.
It has. They look nice and composed. Izzy just touched on it there. They played one ball through the lines and they're onto the back five, if you like. So I think that's where United really have to be careful and pressing too high and too aggressive at certain times when you're off balance in those moments and you get turned and the transition you have to sprint 30 yards. So they've got to be careful with that one. But it's a positive start by United. I think as long as they manage the difficult moments in the game, I can't see. And I also look at Bilbao and I think that they're not actually that athletic. There's no real athleticism in the team, so I don't think there's that area of the side of the game that you have to worry about. But let's see how we go.
Yeah, 0-0 in the early stages. Phil Jones and Izzy Christiansen with us here on Sports Extra. Ball by Lindelof to Maguire, central figure of that back three. To Lindelof, closed down by Berenguer, and the ball actually won't go out of play. It spins and stays in field, and then it's played back towards Onana, who sweeps it out, and it goes out for a throw. Certainly Ruben Amorim, as he was saying yesterday in his press conference, he feels the need that United have to score.
Yeah, I think he's right, because we've seen what's happened already in this competition. We've seen what's happened in the Champions League this week. Anything can happen in European football. You've got to be so alert. And I just think there's a few moments already in this game where Bilbao are starting to sort of get a nibble at Manchester United, and the incentive is increasing for them to push on.
Ball goes long by Aguirre Zabala, the goalkeeper. Header in field by Ugarte. Manchester United back with Ugarte. Came back to him a second time quite quickly. Managed to find Yoro, who goes all the way back towards Onana. Remember, they lead 3-0 from the first leg. On 5 Live tonight, they're in the Arctic Circle. The commentary team of Alistair Bruce Ball and Paul Robinson from Tottenham had a first leg lead of 3-1 to see who will meet in Bilbao on the 21st of May. So just under a fortnight's time. There've been no goals elsewhere to tell you about, though, even in that key game in the Championship playoffs, Bristol City against Sheffield United. Chelsea, of course, you would think are well set for a place in Wroclaw at the end of May in the Conference League final. But the Athletic Bilbao supporters swaying with their red and white scarves held aloft with a chant of Athletic as in comes the throw on that far side, the right. Didn't reach its intended target, Unai Núñez, who was up from the back. Although they still have it, De Galarreta plays the ball forward, and Mazraoui hasn't dealt with it, and it's pulled back, and this is Berenguer, and he shoots right-footed inside left channel of the penalty area, couldn't keep it down. First chance of the game, and Athletic Bilbao have had the first chance of the game after 8.5 minutes, and Berenguer right-footed inside inside left channel, right-footed, couldn't keep it down. 0-0 on the night. That was just for the benefit of an update for 5 Live Sport. I'm multitasking. Yeah,
very impressive, Dano. Very impressive.
Bearing in mind, they didn't give me much time. They only gave me about a second's notice to what was going on.
Well, that's why you're at the top of your game.
I need longer, Izzy, as you know. I need much longer than that. Anyway, it's 0-0. But Berenguer should have scored.
He should have done. It was a brilliant bit of play from Berenguer, but he just couldn't keep his shot down.
Dorgu forward for Manchester United. It's a deep cross from the left-hand side. Mazraoui on the right, slips, gets back to his feet quickly, and it will roll out of play for United throw. had he taken that chance, it'd have been interesting.
It was a warning sign. It was a warning sign for Man United. Cross didn't deal with it at the back post. Masraoui should have just headed it out for a corner, and it was definitely a warning sign. It was a good chance.
Was a good chance. From memory, he had a couple of chances last week before he was sacrificed after the sending off of Vivian. Masraoui waits with a throw. It's a looping throw. Hauragipa heads it away. Headed back by Lindelof. Might be picked up here by Sanadi, and indeed it is, and he runs forward, and he's only got to go it alone. He's got to wait for the support of the Royal Blue shirts. He goes out wide. Jalo passes the ball back. Garosabel will have to tidy up, and the right back will eventually go back to his goalkeeper. Aguirre Thabala has to clear it long first time. 0-0. We've been playing for 10 minutes, and Dorgu now to Maguire. So 10 minutes past 8 on this Thursday evening. Next live sport on Sports Extra is the County Championship coverage tomorrow. Nottinghamshire against Hampshire in the company of Kevin Howells and the team, followed by Leicester against Sale at 7:40 tomorrow night in the Rugby Union. But this is European football, and this is picked up by Unai Gomez, and the ball is chipped out by Hauragipa towards that far side. Garosabel's cross is charged down by Dorgu, and then he wins the United throw off the legs of the right back for Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah, Phil made an excellent point a few moments ago around the lack of athleticism in Atletico Bilbao's side. You could just see there the counter-attack. They had no numbers supporting the attack, and all of Manchester United players were sprinting back into shape, into their own half, and that is the type of attitude you need to get through the line here. But there is a little incentive here for Bilbao. I can feel it. Something's going to happen.
Well, had Nico Williams been playing, then all of a sudden that threat on the break gives them an option, doesn't it? But without him, I mean, it's one thing to lose Santhet, the leading goal scorer, but to lose Nico Williams in particular, who's had the best scoring season of his career, is such a blow.
It's massive for Bilbao. Those two really key players for them this season, especially in the Europa League. And they have started okay. They look a little bit of a threat, but I just don't think they've got enough attacking options in the final third. But you know, United are in trouble more often than not when they've got the ball, and it's the mistakes that killed them this season. So if they can cut them out and manage the game well, they'll be fine.
Yes, in the words of Amorim, it's when they lose their mind. Well, they've got this free kick to defend. Athletic Bilbao playing from right to left as we look, just in from the right touchline. Probably a shade over 25 yards out. Fired in by Berenguer and punched away with real purpose with both fists by Onana. Comes out to De Galarreta, lifts it forward. Sanadi, left-hand side of the penalty area. Sanadi has some support. Hauragipa, his cross is blocked, and then it runs off the knees of Unai Núñez, and all of a sudden the counter-attack is on for United, but it was read by Aguirre Thabala, the goalkeeper, and in fact he needed out for a throw.
It was a really good starting position from him.
That's where you talk about anticipation, is it, from the goalkeeper?
Yeah, he read it really well.
It's his fourth season in the first team, 28 appearances and 12 clean sheets, but he has been the preferred keeper rather than Unai Simon, the European Championship winner, of course, with Spain last summer. As Yoro looks for the run of Højlund, in behind Garosabel, the right back, stumbles, fumbles and can't keep the ball in play, and it will be an Athletic Bilbao throw over on that right. That's where, when Athletic Bilbao do go forward, is he, that United do have that threat on the counter.
That's what they're looking for. They've got the likes of Garnacho, you know, when Bruno Fernandes drops in, gets on the spin and fizzes it in behind. I think that's when he's at his best, and the running of Garnacho and Højlund certainly help him achieve those passes.
Bristol City 0, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield United's Tyrese Campbell has had a goal ruled out for offside. In fact, he was actually on this week's episode of 72 Plus, the EFL podcast, which you can find on the Football Daily feed on BBC Sounds. But still 0-0 at Ashton Gate. 14 minutes played, no goals yet in Norway. Bodo Glimt against Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United under the clear skies this evening, still with that 3-goal lead from last week's first leg very much intact, as the boisterous bunch from Bilbao still make the noise away from our to our right-hand side. Quarter of an hour played. Matsraoui. Back to Lindelof. Chips it away downfield. I think it's going to go out of play. Yes, it will. He was just waiting for that. Was Bachiche on this near side, the left back. Very experienced now, 35 years of age. And he just waits, finds Sonardi. Maguire, though, gets himself in front of Sonardi and then is fouled from behind. And then, in fact, Houri Githa has prevented Bruno Fernandes from taking a quick free kick. You'd have thought that might have been a yellow card.
Yeah, it might be, but that's a good battle there. But this is where Bruno Fernandes, like, I get it. He's trying to take a quick free kick, but the afters, I just don't think there's any need right now to be involved. I just think you need to calm in these moments. They're 3-0 up. They've just got to stay calm and present, and just giving Athletic Bilbao that sort of incentive is not what they need. But that step in from Harry Maguire was excellent. He was strong, he won the ball.
Good centre-half play there, really stepping into the midfield, jumped at the right time, really aggressive, and wins a free kick for his team.
Ball play through. Here is Garnacho. Aguirre Thabala was quickly off his goal line with a smothering save. I can't make out the words, but there have been two banners that have been placed directly in front of the Manchester United directors, and it says, Sir Jim, 12 months ago we thought you were one of us. 12 months on, and then I can't see the rest, but it's I think the message is something about loyalty. But there is an organised protest, and that is very, very hard to ignore for the Manchester United directors. It's been placed right in front of their eye line. I would suggest probably 3 seats in front of the director's box. Meanwhile, Dorgu comes forward. Hoyland to the right, onto his left foot. Tees up Bruno Fernandes, blocked by De La Garreta. We're also live on BBC Radio Manchester tonight, as well as Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. It's 0-0 in this second leg. Berenguer out towards Unai Gomez. Gomez with a slightly bushy hair comes forward. They're all in royal blue in their shirts and shorts, and then Bachiche joins it. Sonardi makes the run. Headed out though by Casemiro. And it was a good cushioned header out from his penalty area. It's a controlled header out, and then Bruno Fernandes just waits for Dorgo to make the run out to his left-hand side, and United are back in possession.
Yeah, it's been a little bit disappointing from Atletico Bilbao because they've had nothing in the final third. Like, they're getting these balls into the areas and then they just kind of stop the attack. And they don't look for any sort of penetration. They don't look to build, pick up the ball speed and try and move Manchester United out of their shape. And that's where Manchester United are the most comfortable, when they're in that tight shape at the back, defending and playing on the transition.
I thought they were really good then. It was the first time in the first phase in build-up for Man United they found the overload and the extra man. The first time they had a bit of bravery to play through the lines, and Bruno gets the ball, plays it out wide, and he ends up with a 3v2, which he should have done better on.
Izzy Christiansen and Phil Jones here at Old Trafford tonight, as Sonardi, the referee's actually played an advantage. Sonardi to Giallo. Ball by De Galarreta will go out wide. Gorosabel with the cross, cut out by Yoro. And not only did he stop the cross with an outstretched left leg, he was then able to quickly clear it. But they've committed every outfield player inside the Manchester United half here. Have the Spanish side, and it remains Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 0. And stand by, we're going to be doing another update to 5 Live. We've been playing for 18 minutes. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 0. Just that Berenguer shot, the only real worthwhile opportunity. Manchester United, though, remember, still have that 3-goal lead from last week's first leg. 0-0. That was seamless, wasn't it?
Unbelievable operator.
They're attacking. Sonardi with the instant layoff, looking for Unai Gomez. Manchester United to clear. That will be a pattern of the night. Who says that we can't multitask? As Bruno Fernandes just leaves it now for Dorgu. Infield to Ugarte, midway through his own half. And Casemiro, with his years of experience, he's just telling him, don't pass the ball forward, pass it back to Lindelof. Lindelof will run forward. And then Lindelof back to Harry Maguire. All about protecting, and if not adding to the lead that they got a week ago. And in fact, Manchester United, with their illustrious history, have progressed in all 20 previous occasions when they have won the away first leg in UEFA competition. And they've certainly never lost by a scoreline that would even take us into extra time in Europe. Although I noticed that Bournemouth and Tottenham and Liverpool did win this season here by 3-0, but not in Europe. You know, they do have this proud record in European competition. I mean, they didn't taste defeat in their first 56 home games in Europe. Not until 1996. They've only had 21 defeats in 210 home games in Europe. I know because I counted them. 0-0. And you can see why Bilbao have failed to score in 3 of their last 4.
Yeah, you can really see it. They're just, you know, I don't want to say lack of ideas in possession, but it's just hard to kind of see right now what they're trying to do to penetrate Manchester United.
Araguiza picks it up, bundled off the ball with ease by Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro out towards Dorgu. Nicely worked. Dorgu's got a bit of room to run into. Garnacho's gone out, so that was stopped by Garasabal. Now to Jallo, plays the ball forward. Berenguer now, maybe an opening here for Athletic Bilbao. Jallo has joined the attack to his right. Berenguer will come in field, and Berenguer with a shot. Left-footed, just puts it wide. About a foot wide of the left-hand post, 0-0.
Yeah, it's come again from Manchester United, losing the ball higher up, playing through the midfield. Athletic Bilbao far too easily. Berenguer just evades Casemiro, cuts inside onto his left foot and tries to fizz it into that far corner beyond Anana. That's his second chance already this match. Harder than the first one, but equally should have been on target.
Couldn't get the necessary bend on it, could he?
No, not quite. I think when they do attack, I talk about the athleticism before. I just don't think they've got the energy to get up with the number 21 up top and really make an influence. They've not, but I mean they've had some nice little patterns of play, but not really that threatening.
It's 0-0. Manchester United still lead 3-0. Ball played forward. Dorgu gets in round the back, goes down under a challenge in the penalty area. Referee straight away said no. He was still wagging his finger. He had a good look at that, did Daniel Siebert. Naturally it will go to VAR anyway.
Yeah, it's a wonderful forward run from Dorgu. He puts the accelerator on, he runs in beyond that left channel, gets in behind. The referee made a really early call.
Well, they weren't enamoured with the officiating last week, were the Athletic Bilbao supporters, but he was adamant right from the start, and Christian Dinger, the VAR official, will have a look at it. It's the challenge between Gorosabel and Dorgu. But is Dorgu already going down?
Yeah, I think he's already going to the ground before he even makes contact with him, and he makes it look a bit more than it was. It's not a penalty.
We'll just wait for the referee. They're obviously still having a look at it. I always think, though, the longer that this goes, it clearly means they're having multiple looks at it rather than dismissing it out of hand straight away.
Yeah, I think, you know, because both players are running at great speed, it makes it look worse when there is contact. But Dorgu is off balance as he starts to go down, so it's just whether they deem that as contact.
Who knows these days? Who knows?
Exactly.
Your guess is as good as mine.
They have ruled that will not be a penalty, and play is back underway. I actually bumped into the Norwegian referee as I left Bilbao on a red-eye flight, and I went up to him and had a little word with him as we disembarked one of those little shuttle buses at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. He was I don't think he'll be going back to Bilbao for a while, that is for sure.
What did you say to him?
I thought that he got the decisions right, the major decisions. Although technically it was the VAR anyway. But always good just to have a little chat, try and improve the knowledge, you know. Be sociable. 24 minutes played, 0-0. And the cross comes in, aimed towards Sonardi, rises too early, headed away by Matsraoui. Out towards Gomez on this near side, the left, fires the ball in low. Lindelof is there to clear the ball away. And this will be Unai Núñez, who hasn't dealt with that effectively. It looked like a handball, and it was by Højlund. Just a touch of his left hand as it came round. free kick for Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah, we all saw it from Højlund. The ball just didn't bounce properly. He does really well to put pressure on initially, get the second ball. He just tries to get the ball into his path so he can open his legs and run the channel. But Amorim is fuming with Garnacho because he didn't pick up the second ball as Bilbao were attacking, and it just dropped, and it just gave them the opportunity to attack again. And that's one of the most animated I've seen him at Old Trafford this season, Ruben Amorim.
He's been shown Mazraoui's been shown the yellow card. So Mazraoui has been booked by the German referee. 25 minutes play, still 0-0 on the night. Manchester United lead 3-0 on aggregate. Goalless in the Arctic Circle between Bodo Glimt and Tottenham Hotspur. The ball by Gorosabel. Hauri Giefer is able to turn. Jallo far side the right, midway through the Manchester United half. Again, every Royal Blue shirt is in the half away towards our left. And this is ball passed by Hauri Giefer. Now to Bachiche. Gomez in field. The Galarreta has lost out in that challenge to Højlund. Ugarte for Manchester United. His forward ball cut out by a sliding Bachiche. Yeray, the central defender. Cushion touch off the top of the right foot by Berenguer on this near side, the left. And then Casemiro wrestles him to the floor, and it will be an Athletic Bilbao free kick in an opportunity where they can maybe whip it in off this near left touchline.
Yeah, it's just a silly foul again on Casemiro on Berenguer there. He's going nowhere. He's going off the pitch, if anything. You just need to stand him up and just hold him there. No need to foul and now put your team under the pressure of defending this set piece.
BBC Radio 5 Live Extra, BBC Sounds, and also live on Radio Manchester tonight. In the 27th minute, and it's 0-0. Athletic Bilbao, attacking the Stretford end, have got a free kick a couple of yards in from the left touchline. Berenguer is going to take it, right-footed, arcs its way in. And that was a potential awkward. I would imagine that's one that the defenders might dread as it dropped into the hands of Onana, Phil Jones.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a goalkeeper really commanded in moments like that. Sometimes they can stay on the line and get a bit flustered, but it was really good goalkeeping from Onana.
They've lost the ball though since at Manchester United, and now it is with Yeray, the central defender. He's right of the centre circle. Now back with Unai Núñez. Bachiche, his fellow number 17 Garnacho runs towards him. The left back, they pass a diagonal ball forward. Hauri Giefer chips it. Little dink ball looking for Jallo to chase, but he's fouled Yoro, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester United, 0-0.
Yeah, the wide centre-back on the left, Yoro for Manchester United. He's just getting into that channel there. And Diallo there, just finding the way to sort of get in behind him. That's the way to break this system, is to play beyond the wide centre-backs, in between the wing-backs, try and disrupt the shape. But Manchester United so far being relatively solid in keeping them at bay.
All the matches tonight kicked off at 8, and we're yet to have a goal in any of them. Bodo Glimt 0, Tottenham 0. Spurs lead 3-1 on aggregate. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, goalless against Djurgården. That's a 4-1 advantage from the first leg. And in the other semi-final of that Conference League, Fiorentina 0, Real Betis 0. The Seville-based side lead 2-1 from the first leg, and Bristol City, Sheffield United remains goalless in that Championship playoff at Ashton Gate. And we, of course, are still scoreless here at Old Trafford. Manchester United against Athletic Bilbao. Lindelof in the centre circle of the Athletic Bilbao half. Mazraoui on this near side, the right. Gomez runs towards him. Back towards Lindelof, passes the ball along the ground. Garnacho being pursued by Bachiche, leaves a little bit on him. Had a little nibble there against Garnacho, and that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, Bachiche just there recognising he can get in tight on Garnacho. Garnacho's first touch is really good, but it's away from pressure, back towards his own goal. He fizzes it back to Lindelof, and there's a little bit of afters there.
But still, and I was thinking there's never going to be an upset here tonight. And then I listened to Ruben Amorim's conference yesterday, And you think that they conceded 2 goals in both the first half and the second half. I think it was a 6-minute spell and then a 4-minute spell. You think of Coventry in that FA Cup semi-final last year. Manchester United do have a tendency to concede quick, but they're now looking to score quick, and they're on the break, and it's Dorgu on the left-hand side, but his cross headed away by Bacice. That could have made a commentator read his words.
I think he chose the wrong option. I think he should have carried on driving into the box and commit the defender. He probably played the ball too soon.
Patrick Dorgu, who's still yet to score for Manchester United, did pop up with 5 goals during his time at Lecce. Ran forward. A goal for Manchester United that will shortly banish any talk of an unlikely comeback for Athletic Bilbao.
Absolutely. They just haven't looked like they've had enough of those transitional moments yet where they look like such a threat.
Zanardi given a long ball to challenge Maguire, poorly given away. Jallo with a shot, that was blocked, comes out to Haurigitha. Oh, what a goal! What a fine goal that is! Right footed into the top right hand corner. Mikel Haurigitha. All of a sudden Athletic Bilbao have a glimmer of hope. A glimmer of hope for Athletic Bilbao, and what a goal by Mikel Haurigitha. With 15 minutes to go to half-time, right-footed, curling, finds the top right-hand corner. 5,000 Athletic Bilbao supporters go wild. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. United lead 3-1 in aggregate. Wow, what a hit.
What a finish. It's almost come out of nowhere. But Harry Maguire here, sloppy pass, it just gives the opportunity to attack again. Diallo has the shot, it falls to Haurigitha, and he just lets fly. He couldn't have caught it any better. It curves out the width of the goal, and Arna gets a slight fingertip to it. But we said the next goal was crucial, and it's gone in the direction of Bilbao.
Phil, we've seen some special goals, but that's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, terrific strike. Harry just doesn't really deal with the ball, doesn't play the pass right to Dorgu. It lands back at his feet and he's killed one in the top corner. Tremendous finish, and that's probably the glimmer of hope that they were hoping for.
I met his brother last week when I was going through my pronunciations. Asia actually works as on the receptionist in the hotel that we were staying at. I'm not sure if he's one of those Athletic Bilbao supporters now who's swirling their red and white scarves aloft and around above their heads. If not, he'll be watching with pride, because he's going to struggle to score a better goal than that.
I think when we talk about the big players in the big games, these are the times when you need them. In moments like this, these are the times where they need to step up and manage the game really well now.
Manchester United, a little bit of apprehension in the air at Old Trafford. Matsraoui, chipped forward by Bruno Fernandes. Imagine if Athletic Bilbao were to score again. That then would set a few nerves starting to jangle, if they're not already.
Yeah, they've absolutely handed the incentive and the invitation to Bilbao to get back in the game, and Manchester United, this is where it becomes chaotic. This is where they need to understand and learn how to manage the game, and the amount of times they've given the ball away in the midfield, they're just giving them that opportunity to attack them in waves.
They need to make more passes and kill the sting out of the game.
Was it the Maguire mistake out of defence that led to Jallo?
He did. It was a loose pass, yeah, because it dropped to him. Maguire, we're just watching a replay on the television, and he's trying to just find Lenny Yoro to his left, and then it's just where the ball lands. And the second phase, he can't take anything away from the finish. It's spectacular.
So Athletic Bilbao lead by a goal to 0. What you were saying there, though, Izzy, Ruben Amorim was saying yesterday that they don't have that ability to control narratives of games, but they've now got to keep their discipline, because all of a sudden they can't have that moment we were just talking about of conceding another one. Berenguer chips it forward, looking with the run of Zanardi. They do have that tendency to concede quickly, as we were just highlighting. This is where they need to now dig in and show a bit of resilience.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes me it's difficult to understand how the players out there on the pitch can't feel this and feel the momentum shifting in Athletic Bilbao's favour. and then, like Phil said, just learn to manage the game. You know, put those extra passes in, take your time on throw-ins, absorb the pressure.
But just looking at that passage of play there when Victor had the ball, I think he's trying to find Højlund too early, make some more passes, suck them into the press, and then try and play around them and play through the thirds. They're just getting caught at the minute by, you know, playing the ball up to Højlund too early and too soon.
Gomez gets the ball back from Berenguer. Athletic Bilbao all of a sudden are starting to play. But Chiche chips it forward, headed away by Maguire. But there was Haraguita, the goal scorer, and then was he fouled by Casemiro? No, the referee says it'll go out for a throw. And it's about 10 yards up from the corner flag as they attack the Stretford end, leading by a goal to 0. And we've got about 10 minutes to go at a half-time. I can't really recall Manchester United creating anything in this first half. From the throw for Athletic Bilbao. Back to Haraguita. Berenguer able to turn. No foul. Counter-attack on. Ugarte leads the charge with the ball. Højlund and Garnacho are both to his right. Ugarte finds Garnacho inside the penalty area. Pulls it back. Dorgu gets there. Took it out of the path of Bruno Fernandes and the shot was blocked. Maybe amidst the din he didn't hear the cry from Bruno Fernandes. As now Mazraoui goes into an aerial challenge and catches an Athletic Bilbao player. And in fact they're actually saying Mazraoui's been booked. They're trying to highlight that to the German referee.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden the temperature's just risen here. Bilbao are just taking the incentive and Manchester United are just not managing it.
I think his first yellow card was for raising an arm. If they... they'd have to have a look at violent conduct. That would be the only thing. They couldn't go for VAR for a second.
I don't think there was any malice in it, but he does have to be really careful. And I think Casemiro now has to use all his experience and really help Mazraoui out. It's the last thing you need. You're 1-0 down. It's the last thing you need going down to 10 men in a game like this.
They don't do it easy, do they, in Europe? Manchester United, although in saying that, they're still the only unbeaten side in Europe.
It's just like they need to concede for them just to almost set a firelighter off and get them started.
In the Conference League semis, Anthony has scored to give Real Betis the lead away to Fiorentina, but Fiorentina have since equalised. So if that's 1-1, it means that Real Betis lead by 3-2, remains 0-0 at Stamford Bridge, and also 0-0 in Norway between Bodo Glimt and Tottenham, and also at Ashton Gate in that Championship playoff semi-final first leg. Sports Extra, BBC Sounds App, Radio Manchester, here at Old Trafford, and we've got about 8 minutes to go to half-time. And Athletic Bilbao are leading by a goal to 0. We said, well, you actually said, Phil, you felt they had to score in the first half, so they're on course.
Yeah, they had to get a goal in the first half. They've given themselves a chance. Look, they're in the game now. They're in the game. It's a good opportunity for them. They've given themselves a lifeline.
And for Manchester United now, they've only kept 3 clean sheets in their last 20 games since the end of January. So they're trailing on the night, but they still do have the 2-goal cushion. And Maguire with the free kick goes long. Dorgu climbs, heads it. Headed away though by Yeray, the central defender. Rides up the chest of Yoro, stabs it forward. Ugarte out towards Bruno Fernandes. They're in the Athletic Bilbao half. Casemiro's forward ball offside against Dorgu, and that will be a free kick to Athletic Bilbao, which they eventually take and knock it across the back. Bachiche forward, Sanade back towards Bachiche, quickly into Unai Gomez, who'd gone into a central area off the left. Berenguer is the one who's actually playing in a more central role. It's Unai Gomez who's gone out to the left from that starting position that we thought that they'd possibly line up. Manchester United with Casemiro midway through his own half. Clear night, trailing on the night though by a goal to 0. Casemiro quickly closed down by the blue shirts of Athletic Bilbao. And it's the whistles you can hear from the travelling support as Ugarte was just caught by Haraguita. And in fact, that's going to result in a yellow card for the Athletic Bilbao goal scorer.
Yeah, he just catches Ugarte late. You know, Manchester United, as soon as they win the ball back, they're looking to go forward early. If it's not on, they come back and they start building again. They slow it down. And that's where the 2 midfielders, Casemiro and Ugarte, have to get really narrow to then start dictating play. and they're really clever, just sucking in the challenge. And now he's playing on a yellow card, the goal scorer.
I think Bruno's picking up some really lovely positions in the opposite 10, but we're just not being able to find him at the minute. The only time we found him in the first half is when we created a 3v2 and he should have scored from it.
So who needs to do what in order to find him?
I think we just have to we have to find the overload in the build-up in the first phase, and we're not doing that at the minute. Maybe a bit more risky with the passes in the build-up.
Phil Jones, former Manchester United and England international. Izzy Christiansen, formerly of Everton and Manchester City, as well as England, also sat with us. Phil to my left, Izzy to the right, stuck in the middle with you. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Sports Extra and Athletic Bilbao are leading on the night. Lindelof shrugs off the challenge of Berenguer, and it will be a free kick to the home side. We're going to get another update for BBC Radio 5 Live in the next few seconds. Still 0-0 in Norway, incidentally. We have 4 minutes to go to half-time, and Athletic Bilbao still lead by a 1-0 on the night. That terrific strike by Jauregui as Garnacho tries to come forward, but he's stopped. Manchester United have created very little, but they do lead 3-1 on aggregate. And now back on Sports Extra. Ugarte to the edge of the area. Højlund, can he get it out wide to the left? Dorgu. There are appeals there for the challenge on Ugarte. Play continues out towards the left. Dorgu back to Bruno Fernandes. Tries to get it back to Dorgu. Then he stumbles inside the area. The German referee's not having any of it. He's standing firm. Manchester United trailing on the night by a 0-0. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time. Mazraoui with the ball in, headed out by Unai Núñez, only as far as Fernandes, goes back. Maguire puts his foot on the ball. Old Trafford in full voice, chipped out by Maguire, but Chiche read it, heads it away. Casemiro plays it forward. Ugarte gets it to Mazraoui, running back though from his position as a right wing back on this near side. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing from left to right. And then it is with Maguire, who on the edge of his centre circle in his own half. Lindelof to Casemiro, tickles it to the right hand side for Garnacho, back towards Lindelof, short diagonal ball. Garnacho now towards Ugarte, outside the centre circle of the Manchester United half. Dorgu is quite high, and then all of a sudden he'll drop back as the ball goes short and square to Casemiro, and then he finds Dorgu, but there was tracking him every way was Goro Sabel. Bruno Fernandes plays it back, and they're now just starting to advance into Athletic Bilbao territory. Mazraoui's forward ball. Dorgu has continued to drift in field. Yeray got a foot into the challenge, picked up by Jauregui. Sanade, the striker, helps it out now towards Diallo on the right hand side. Sanade goes ahead of him. Diallo skips in field. Challenge comes in to break it up by Ugarte. Dorgu, who is still central, picks it up in the centre circle. Forward ball. Garnacho is onto it. Garnacho with a ding finish, and it runs wide at the left-hand post. First real chance that Manchester United have created, and they couldn't take it.
Wow. Well, firstly, the run is exceptional. The pass is even better from Dorgu, but this from Garnacho, he has to score. He goes one-on-one. He just looks for the little dink, and the ball just trickles wide of that far left-hand post. That has to be in the back of the net.
It was perfectly weighted, wasn't it, from Dorgu?
Yeah, it was a lovely run, and it was a great opportunity to score. He might have even been able to take it round the goalkeeper, but those are the spaces that they're going to be leaving.
For the benefit of our Radio 5 listeners, we're going to an update for that significant chance, as Manchester United still trail by a 0-0, but 2 minutes before the break they've created their first real opportunity of the game. Dorgu's through ball perfectly weighted. Garnacho went for the dink finish left-footed. He put it wide of the left-hand post. They still trail by a 0-0 on the night, but it's 3-1 on aggregate. Maguire's commanding header out of defence. He really did go to attack that. Goro Sabel, the right back, to Aguirre Zabala, clears it long. Maguire again wins it, but Bruno Fernandes coming back from an offside position. It'll go through to the Bilbao goalkeeper.
Maguire's just headed it further than I think I could kick him.
That's Garnacho at his best, by the way, when he's got space to run into. I feel like when he stands full back up, I don't think he has He's not got the pace to go past them. When he's got space to run into, that's when he's really threatening and really explosive in those situations.
Need to do more of that then for Manchester United. We're into the last 60 seconds. Jallo's cross on the right hand side, blocked by Dorgu. Back header away to Bruno Fernandes, cleared only as far as Yerai. Didn't deal with it the first time. It reared up, headed it out towards the right. Haurigitha passes the ball back. Unai Núñez now to Bachiche on this near side. Bachiche turns. Garnacho is in front of him. He runs infield alongside the halfway line. Left of the centre circle. Now in the Manchester United half. We'll find out how much added on time there will be. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. And this now is Berenguer. And Berenguer got the last touch. It'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Bachiche's just wandered into the centre of the park there. He just got on the ball and all the Manchester United players have just stood off him. I don't understand how nobody has got up close to him, put pressure on him, and it just looks like it's going to fizzle out to half-time, but definitely got the upper hand, Atletico Bilbao.
Chelsea are in front at Stamford Bridge and they're heading for the Conference League final. 2 minutes of added on time here, incidentally. Dewsbury Hall's got the goal. All square in the other semi. Fiorentina have come from behind against Real Betis to lead 2-1 on the night, so that's 3-3 on aggregate. So Chelsea, remember, are 5-1 up, and in the Europa League semi-final it remains 0-0 between Bodo Glimt and Tottenham, and Bristol City and Sheffield United is also still goalless at Ashton Gate. But we're into 2 minutes of added on time here, and at half time we will just basically rejoin the 5 Live coverage. So in fact I'll just do a quick out and then I'll let Mark Chapman in to let you, Izzy and Phil do all the hard work at the break, rather than everyone to repeat ourselves.
What are you going to do at half time, Dano?
I might just have a little sip of water.
Okay.
I think out of that, kick back, put my feet up. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. Matsraoui to Lindelof, clears it downfield. Højlund tries to chest it back towards Garnacho, but De Galarreta got there in the challenge. Jallo and Sonardi link up. Sonardi looks for a shooting opportunity. Sonardi feeds it. It runs through now towards Unai Gomez, and his low ball in from the left-hand side, gathered in by Onana. But that was anxious moments for everybody inside Old Trafford of a United persuasion.
Yeah, it's really nice. Little link-up, intricate play in and around the box from Athletic Bilbao. It's Sonardi who drops deep, and they just look to fizz it out wide and get Gomez on the ball, drifting into this left-hand area, and just fizzes it across, and Onana gobbles it up. But that was a nice little bit of play.
Tell you what, we've got an interesting second half ahead with this scoreline. Athletic Bilbao struggled for goals of late, but only twice have they lost home and away a European knockout tie in their proud history. Ferencváros in the Fairs Cup in the late 60s, and then more recently Marseille in the Europa League last 16, about, well, it was the 17-18 campaign, so what was that, 7 years ago. But there is the half-time whistle, and a terrific strike by Haurigitha just past the half hour gives Athletic Bilbao the lead and still gives them hope and something to fight for. So here on Sports Extra, we will head back to our coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live. We'll be back in time for the second half. But half-time at Old Trafford in this semi-final second leg. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1.
Still lead 3-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, we don't know much more than we did from the start of the game, did we? I think there's two teams there that Tottenham have really cancelled Bodo out. They've not given really any opportunities. Vicario's not had any major saves to make. He's had the one free kick that was drifting to his top right-hand corner that he flipped over for a corner kick. The longer this game goes, Bodo are going to have to take chances. They're going to have to chase this game, which will in turn give Tottenham an opportunity on the change of possession, the counter-attack. For Ange Postecoglou, it's 45 minutes of exactly what we'd have wanted to see. Icing on the cake for him would have been a 1-goal lead going in at half-time, but he will not be disappointed with that performance.
As it stands, Tottenham on their way to the Europa League final. Could it be redemption this season for Tottenham? So far, so good tonight. Half-time, Tottenham 0, Bodo Glimt 0.
Going to go straight to Ashton Gate, where there has been late drama at the end of the first half. Molly.
Bristol City 0, Sheffield United 1. Harrison Burrows puts Sheffield United 1-0 up from the penalty spot, sending Max O'Leary the wrong way. But not just that, the referee has issued a red card in the process. Rob Dickey wrapped his arms around Kiefer Moore in the box, which led to the penalty and in turn a red card. Bristol City are down to 10. It's Bristol City 0, Sheffield United 1.
They've been going at it all game as well, haven't they, Molly?
What a crazy match. I've got to say, there's been no shortness of intensity and generally attacking threat from both sides, Mark. It's been fluent in parts, but it's been frenetic in most of the parts. It's been a phenomenal game for the neutral, and this can only be the start of more drama, I'd suspect.
Very, very difficult for Bristol City, down to 10 and a goal down at home to the side who finished third in the Championship as they approach half-time at Ashton Gate. You would say, Paul Robinson, a little bit more attritional where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the job well done from Tottenham's point of view, in all honesty. Just talking to Ali there when we're getting the update, saying we may as well start the game now. We don't know anything that we didn't know at the start of the game. For Tottenham, it's 45 minutes, job well done. We've reduced the time. We're still exactly where we are. We've got to get 45 minutes of the same and get out of here with a result. I think that they've done well in the first half. It's not been pretty. They've gone long from goal kicks. It's not the usual fluid, free playing football with the players bombing on. That defensive structure's in place. They're winning free kicks. They're slowing the game down. They're taking the time, and they're managing their way through the game without being overly convincing.
All right, Paul, Ali, thank you very much. Job well done, says Paul, for Tottenham in that first 45 minutes. Job not well done at Old Trafford, Ian Dennis.
Certainly makes for an interesting second half. I've got to say, though, it was a wonder goal from Harry Geether just after the half-hour mark. Maguire's loose pass fell to Jallo, who had a shot charged down, and Harry Geether has picked it up right-footed into the top right-hand corner, although Athletic Bilbao before that did have a couple of opportunities through Berenguer. And Manchester United, well, we were saying in the commentary on Sports Extra that the first goal was going to be interesting, and it gives Athletic Bilbao that glimmer of hope. And Manchester United didn't really create a worthwhile opportunity until just 2 minutes before half-time. Dorgu's through ball, perfectly weighted, Garnacho onto it, left-footed dink finish, ran wide of the left-hand post. But could have an interesting second half.
What do you make of that, Izzy Christiansen?
Yeah, interesting. You kind of thought that Manchester United would have learned from the Lyon game how to see out a game, and obviously they come into this game 3-0 up, now it's 3-1, and the incentive lies very much with Athletic Bilbao, because Manchester United, I think they've been a little bit sloppy. Phil's mentioned it a couple of times on commentary, rightly so, how Manchester United are just not using the ball to just absorb the enthusiasm away from Athletic Bilbao. And if you're thinking about the two dressing rooms right now, you've got Amrin probably calming the players down, and you've got Valverde who's geeing them up, and they'll be coming out rocking again in the second half.
Manchester United's problem seemed summed up with the Garnacho chance, Phil, really. I'm talking about this season, which is the approach play actually was decent. Dorgu's ball was decent, but they can't put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a brilliant, well-worked opportunity, and we said there was going to be spaces to exploit, especially when Bilbao do come out and try and press high, and there was after the goal. He does have to finish it. He doesn't finish it off. There's been a couple of times where in attacking transitions there's been a 3v2 or a 2v1. They just haven't picked the right opportunity or the right pass or the right weight of ball at the right time. But there will be opportunities for Man United to exploit in the second half. There will be spaces, but I just worry about Mazraoui as well, who's on a yellow card. We're talking commentary that Casemiro's going to have to use his experience to help him out. I'm not sure whether he'll make a change at half-time. I know he's done that quite a lot throughout the season. So, listen, United will score. I'm sure they'll score, because there'll be big spaces, especially when Bilbao do have to come out and score another two. But it's not been the best of halves for Man United.
Are you sure? You're sure they'll score?
Positive.
Phil, Izzy, Ian, thank you very much. The second half of that will start on Sports Extra, but remember, we can go wherever the story is this evening, which isn't at Stamford Bridge, John Southall.
Definitely not.
I mean, there is a story there, but it's not very dramatic.
No, and it's been a bit like that for the last 6 months, I think, in the Conference League, hasn't it? Chelsea lead Djurgården there by 1-0. That is 5-1 on aggregate. Very comfortable first half. The goal 7 minutes before half-time. Tyreek George through ball, opened up for Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, did really well into the area. Shot came off the left post and into the bottom corner. There is no coming back from that for Djurgården. Their keepers made 2 good saves to deny Dewsbury-Hall and George. They've had one effort, a Kazuki deflected shot saved by Jorgensen. Interesting team setup for Chelsea. Mark Cucurella is playing alongside Reece James in that holding midfield role, and Reggie Walsh, the number 10, and he's done well, the 16-year-old. But Chelsea are Wroclaw bound for the final, surely. Half-time they lead 1-0, 5-1 on aggregate.
Have you got a monitor in front of you?
I have.
You could try and get Fiorentina Real Betis on that, and you could report on that for the second half, because that's cracking,
you're probably right, actually. I'll ask the technicians if they can change the Chelsea game for me to the Fiorentina one. I'm sure that'll go down really well.
Fiorentina 2, Real Betis 1 at half-time, so that is 3-3.
Be a good final.
Yeah, 3-3 on aggregate. It will, actually. 3-3 on aggregate in that other semi-final. Half-time whistle has gone at Ashton Gate as well. 10-man Bristol City 0, Sheffield United 1. 5-9, this is 5 Live. Here's Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. The world has its first American Pope. Robert Prevost is 69 years old. He was born in Chicago and he spent much of his career as a missionary in Peru. He's going to be known as Pope Leo XIV. Thousands of people cheered as he emerged onto the balcony and waved at the crowds at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. He told them he wants to build bridges.
Fratelli, sorelle carissimi.
Dearest brothers and sisters, this is the first greeting of the risen Christ, the Good Shepherd, who gave his life for the flock of God. I too would like this greeting of peace to enter your hearts and reach your families, all peoples, wherever they may be, all nations, the whole earth. Peace be with you.
World leaders have been congratulating the new Pope. President Trump says it's a great honour to have an American pontiff. Miriam Diagnon campaigns for women's priests and told 5 Live that Leo XIV must change the Catholic Church.
Women are holding up the church. They are running parishes around the world. They're preparing people for sacraments. It is pure sexism that they are not allowed to then, conduct the baptisms, the funerals, the weddings. And it's such glaring sexism that I don't think this Pope has a choice.
Other stories this evening, and Sir Keir Starmer says a trade deal between the US and UK will be great for jobs and for prosperity. It means there'll be 0 tariffs on steel and aluminium exported from the UK to America. Cars will be taxed at 10% rather than 27.5%. Doctors say it's time to change our abortion laws after a woman was cleared of carrying out an illegal termination during the second COVID lockdown. Nicola Packer, who's 45, was found not guilty of aborting a pregnancy beyond the legal 10-week limit. She'd been accused of taking pills that cause a miscarriage at 26 weeks. Pubs are allowed to stay open for an extra 2 hours tonight so people can mark VE Day. Earlier, the King laid a wreath at a service at Westminster Abbey. And Bill Gates says he'll give away almost all his fortune over the next 20 years. His charity, the Gates Foundation, will spend around £150 billion on disease prevention and reducing poverty.
Hello, Russell Kane here. I'm back for another season of character assassinating the nice guy and bigging up the baddies in Evil Genius. Yep, even the biggest legends have their skeletons. So join me and a panel of brilliant comedians to weigh in on whether the biggest players in history are more evil or more genius.
I just think every celebrity, said with respect, Russell, is out of their minds.
Evil Genius with Russell Kane. Listen first on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Bodo Glimt 0, Tottenham 0 at the break. Tottenham still lead 3-1 on aggregate. Manchester United 0, Athletic Club 1. At the break, United 3-1 up on aggregate. Chelsea lead Djurgården by a goal to 0, and Bristol City 0, Sheffield United 1 at half-time in the first leg of the Championship playoff semi-final, and Bristol City are down to 10 as well. So Maro Itoje is captain of the Lions for the tour of Australia. At fly half, Andy Farrell has selected Finn Russell, Finn Smith and Marcus Smith. So no Ireland's Sam Prendergast. Also missing out, Caelan Doris and Robbie Henshaw. Here's the view of former Lions and Ireland captain Brian O'Driscoll.
I'm sure it will take them a while to get over the disappointment, and obviously they're the guys from Ireland. I'm sure there's countless other people in both the UK and Ireland, and indeed in France at the moment, the likes of Jack Willis that would have been a bit disappointed. But you know, unfortunately, that's sport. Probably the most brutal one is for Caelan, because you know, you would have thought that he was a shoe-in for inclusion, but it hasn't gone Robbie's way. He's been on previous tours and been a successful test player, and so it's unfortunate for him. And from Sam's point of view, his time will come. He's still only a very young guy. He's still learning his trade and what it takes to kind of boss a team. And you know, I think it's just one tour too soon for him. In 4 years' time, he'll be an infinitely different player with way more experience, way more know-how, and way more air miles to get a sense as to how to navigate a team of unknowns. So yeah, I think all of them will kind of be disappointed, and they have to own that. But unfortunately, there's only a squad of 38, and there lies an issue in every team.
So that was Brian O'Driscoll. Let's speak to former Lion as well, Shane Horgan. Evening.
Evening.
So, shall we revisit Monday's show and what we talked about with Sam Prendergast when you said you couldn't see Farrell not taking an Irish 10 on this tour?
I had a feeling you might be bringing that up, Mark. Well, I'll give you my response. So I was messaging while the announcement was being made, or after it was made. I was announcing my friend and former teammate Dennis Hickey, and I said, "Geez, it's going to be tricky for Andy Farrell to go back to Ireland camp having picked an Irish 10." And he said it's hard. It's going to be harder for him to go back to his own house to face the mother of his son not having picked him. So he's obviously not afraid to make hard choices in life.
But one of the interesting points that you made on Monday night was, look, I know Prendergast has been up and down a bit, and obviously Finn Smith outplayed him at the weekend in the Leinster-Northampton semi-final. But the point that you made that made so much sense on Monday night was having someone who knows how Farrell wants to play as a 10, even if he isn't going to start games, but to help the process of getting this squad to gel.
And I think that's why I am slightly surprised. But what it's come down to is the fact that I don't think he could pick him after his defensive display at the weekend. You know, there has been murmurings in the background ever since he came into Ireland saying he's not defensively there, and he had in effect a disastrous defensive game. So I don't think that can outweigh what he wants from I suppose a systematic perspective. And actually, Dawes made a really good point, saying, well, needs that less because he's got Johnny Sexton in the coaching team, and I think that's a big role for Johnny.
And the other thing, which we also discovered as we were going through it on Monday night, is versatility plays a massive part here. So in Marcus Smith, he has a versatility there. In some of his other, so like Elliot Daly's a prime example as well, isn't he? And there is a versatility there.
Yeah, I think that did surprise me a bit. Less Marcus Smith, maybe, but just because of the impact he can have, and maybe more Elliot Daly. But listen, Elliot Daly is a stellar player. He's got a real Rolls Royce of a player and can literally slot in, I think, just about anywhere across the back line apart from 9. So I think with it's not that it's a small squad, but I think he wants to use the players that he's bringing on and on tour. And I think, you know, he does need some of those players that can cover a number of positions, and we've seen that both in the forwards, especially in the back row and second rows and the backs as well.
Is there anything else very quickly that stood out for you with the teams heading back out in Norway?
Just listen, it's some disappointment for Ireland with Henry.
So we'll leave the coverage of BBC Radio 5 Live and second half commentary coming up there from the Arctic Circle. Bodo Glimt against Tottenham Hotspur. But here on Sports Extra, and also available on the BBC Sounds app and live on BBC Radio Manchester, we are ready for the second half. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. Neither side then has made a change at the start of the second half, as Manchester United, in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks, play in the second period from right to left as we look, attacking the Stretford end, whereas Athletic Bilbao in their royal blue shirts and shorts are from left to right. And Onana is in goal for the home team. Lindelof, Maguire and Yoro. The wing-backs are Mazraoui and Dorgu. Casemiro and Ugarte in the centre of midfield, with Bruno Fernandes and Garnacho supporting Højlund. As for Athletic Bilbao, Aguirre Zabala is in goal. Gorosabel, Unai Nunes, Yere and Bachiche is the back four. Harugifa, who scored a wonderful goal that gives them the lead. De Galarreta also in the midfield. Berenguer, Unai Gomez, Jallo and Sanadi, the lone striker. And a travelling, expectant support from the Basque region. It would appear that every one of them is decked out in a red and white striped shirt. They're all possessing a red and white scarf that are held above their heads at the moment. As Berenguer with a free kick, right-footed, goes it deep towards the far post, and Bachiche unable to hook it goalwards and out for a goal kick. So, they lead by 1-0, and Izzy, as Phil Jones said in commentary in the first half, this tie is still alive.
Oh yes, it's firmly alive, and this is exactly where Bilbao would want to be in the game still, reducing the deficit. And it'll just be interesting to see what they do, how they're going to do it, because they've got to go and push again for that second, and equally what are Manchester United going to do better in this second half to absorb the game.
Well, you would think, Phil, that they're going to have more scoring opportunities, the home team.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said it before, there'll definitely be spaces to exploit, especially when they push more men forward in the second half, which they're going to have to do. They're going to have to come out at some point and commit more bodies forward. But United have to take the chances, and they had one in the first half with Garnacho, and it's got to be a goal. It's got to end with a goal.
It's a fascinating watch. As Jallo's cross takes a deflection, Casemiro will find Yoro, passes the ball out of defence. Foul by De La Garreta on Bruno Fernandes. No action to be taken though by German referee Daniel Seibert, and although he does get a warning, does De Galarreta.
Yeah, it's moments like that where Bruno Fernandes, I just think it separates him in terms of the quality on the ball. You know, he's under pressure, he recognises the space he's in, and he just Cruyff turns it away from pressure, takes the foul and just releases the pressure on his team. He's so good at receiving the ball on the move.
I agree, that's high level. He scanned before he received the ball, takes it back foot, sucks the player in, buys a foul.
Great noise inside Old Trafford. The Manchester United supporters doing their bit, although the 2-goal cushion would still be sufficient, you would think, to be bound for Bilbao. But if they were to eat into that lead a little bit more, then it would start to get very, very interesting indeed. Here is Dorgu, hit ball in field, taken on the chest by Ugarte, flicked on by the head of Bruno Fernandes. A little bit off balance was Ugarte, and in fact, as a result of being off balance, it struck his hand and he's been penalised. And it'll be a free kick that Yere will look to take for Athletic Bilbao. You'd said in the first half they had to score in that first period, which they did. I'm just wondering now, in terms of the dynamics, when do they need to get the second goal?
They need one before 80 minutes. They'll have the last 10 minutes and they've got a chance of scoring the third to force extra time. It's got to be the game plan.
And of course, a United goal changes that completely. The 3 goals would take us to extra time, but we're still a way off that. Gorosabel is forward, the right back and in field. Jallo is ahead of him. His cross in, cleared by Casemiro. Drops Haurikipa, plays it out towards Jallo, sends another cross in. Gomez lets it run through. Stooping was Lindelof. Berenguer, nice little turn by De La Garreta, and then the ball with Haurikipa. Gorosabel works it out towards the right hand side. Jallo fires in the cross, strikes the legs of Ugarte. Yoro heads it away by Dorgu, and then Bruno Fernandes will come under pressure and is dispossessed by Gorosabel, and Gorosabel gets the return ball. It's a teasing ball cut out by Maguire. They've started very, very well, Athletic Bilbao.
They have, but also Manchester United are just making mistakes. It's Bruno Fernandes again. He just doesn't protect the ball well enough. Bilbao win it back. They find a way into the 18-yard area again and causes Maguire to make that clearance.
They thought that they had their dreams dashed of playing in a major European final in their city, in their stadium. Such a proud region, the Basque region, and they might have travelled more in hope than expectation, but those dreams might still be a long shot, but they're not completely dashed as yet for Athletic Bilbao, as they pick up another loose ball, and Berenguer's shot strikes the back of the legs of Yoro. Played forward, Jallo tries to roll away from Bruno Fernandes. He's gone down holding his face. This now will be checked as a matter of course by VAR, although he's quickly back up for violent conduct. That's what VAR can only check for. It's a free kick to Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah, Diallo there just getting his body in, using it really well. He fakes to cross, he cuts back and he takes the foul. We are just seeing it on a replay. What are we saying, Phil?
9.5.
That's embarrassing if he sees it again. He's gone down with his head in the turf. It's almost as if he's realised, that moment of realisation, I'm starting to look a bit of a fool, and he gets quickly back up to his feet because that was embarrassing. Berenguer, meanwhile, waits to take the free kick for Athletic Bilbao, who lead by a goal to 0 on the night. We're 6.5 minutes into the second half. They're clapping in unison, the Athletic Bilbao supporters. Berenguer waits to take it. Manchester United have everybody back inside the penalty area. In comes the cross, and the referee's blown his whistle before Hauragifa could get a shot away on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, not sure about the out-swinging delivery in that moment there from Berenguer. He whips it with the out-swinging angle on the ball away to that far post, and I just think it favoured a left foot to swing it in and push it onto Onana, because we know that Onana might spill it.
Not a night for mistakes from Andre Onana, as he will take his time with this free kick. Ball inside the D of the Manchester United penalty area, goes long. Højlund headed back by Garnacho. They've lost the ball though deep inside the Athletic Bilbao half. Ugarte tries to win it back, but they're quickly surrounding him in their royal blue shirts for Athletic Bilbao. They'll go out for a Manchester United throw on this left-hand side. So I was just asking Phil about, the times that Athletic Bilbao need to score, and I was reminded by the Manchester United journalist ahead of the game about, do you not remember Coventry in the FA Cup semi-final? And Coventry scored 3 goals in the last 19 minutes and were a toenail away of reaching the FA Cup final, as all of a sudden Berenguer darts forward, but he's overhit that forward ball for Diallo, and it runs through towards Onana. Yeah,
just poor quality from Berenguer, breaks away the midfield really well, and Diallo just making that more penetrating run from out to in on this right hand side. The way to pass was poor.
Yoro with a free kick, and he's in no hurry to take it. The whistles are coming from the Athletic Bilbao supporters, whose coach Ernesto Valverde, now in his 3rd spell, a former forward, has done an excellent job since he rejoined almost 3 years ago. He won the Copa del Rey last year, the first trophy in 40 years. But the noise is deafening under still the clear skies here at Old Trafford. We'll be doing another update for BBC Radio 5 Live early in the second half, but no goals as yet in this second period. 54 minutes played. 9 minutes into the second half. Athletic Bilbao have started in a confident fashion in the second half. They still lead by a goal to 0 on the night through Hauragifa's effort after 31 minutes. But Manchester United are 3-1 up on aggregate. Diallo picks up a loose ball, looks for the run of Gomez. Gomez tries to take it past Mazraoui, but Mazraoui kept his balance, and that was excellent defending on the cover.
Yeah, brilliant from Mazraoui, just tracking him all the way in from that left-hand side. He's running into the centre of the pitch, into the box, and Mazraoui just marshals him and clears the ball, but that was a really, really threatening counter-attack there from Bilbao.
And bearing in mind, Phil, he's on a yellow card as well. He had to get that right.
He did, but it was too easy for Bilbao to play out then. There was nobody from... They got an extra man at the back. Someone needs to jump into midfield, and they didn't do it.
10 minutes into the second half then. We're on Sports Extra Radio Manchester and the BBC Sounds app. Manchester United still bound for Bilbao, and a Manchester United goal surely settles everybody's nerves. Ball forward. Berenguer tried to hook it first time, but tight marking from Yoro, struck the side of the legs of Yoro, goes out for a throw as they attack where the away support are situated here at Old Trafford, as we look away towards our right hand side. And Andoni Gorosabel will wait to take the throw. He's got a couple of options, and Diallo was one of them. Got away from Yoro and needed covering from Dorgu. goes out behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, Diallo's just come to life in this second half. He's looked much sharper, he's looked much more of a threat, and he's just oozing confidence in this moment. He's just looking to dink the ball beyond Yoro on the half bounce. Really nice little bit of play.
Athletic Bilbao then playing from left to right, have a corner kick near side to right. Berenguer is going to take it. It's right-footed. It's an outswinger. It might drop to Hauraguitha. Went to place it with his right foot rather than go for power. Yerai was also there. Edge of the area. Manchester United scramble the ball away. De Galarreta will pick it up. Flat ball back in. Aimed towards Sonari. Tries to head the ball into the direction of Yerai, the central defender. And Athletic Bilbao are still asking questions of Manchester United. Here is Gorosabel. Berenguer on the right side, midway through the Manchester United half. Turns away from Dorgu. Forward ball. Jallo, right side of the box. Jallo's cross takes a deflection. Lindelof with a clearance in a central area, 8 yards out from goal. But Athletic Bilbao are pressing, and this is a really good spell for Athletic Bilbao. They win it again. De Galarreta steadies himself, shoots, takes a deflection. That might spin behind. It does for a corner kick. It's all Athletic Bilbao.
It really is. It's wave after wave. They're just suffocating Manchester United in this moment. Manchester United just can't get out. They've just got no ideas of how to get back up the pitch. They're giving the ball away far too easily in those tight midfield areas, and they're just inviting pressure.
To use a boxing analogy, Manchester United are on the ropes. The corner's taken short. Berenguer's cross goes onto the roof of the net and out for a goal kick. I heard what you said to Mark Chapman in the build-up, Phil. You said that they're going to have to suffer at times. At the minute, it feels as if they're suffering.
Yeah, these are the moments, but at the minute, it just looks like it's attack versus defence. United are struggling to find a way out, and they're deciding to go long from the goal kick now, which is probably a wise decision.
The only thing which wouldn't necessarily go in Athletic Bilbao's favour is that you feel that they've got to go with the players who are on the field, such as the loss of players through injury or suspension, unless there's going to be an unlikely hero coming off the bench for Ernesto Valverde. But they are certainly giving it a really good go. Casemiro, that was a late challenge. The referee has played the advantage. Mazraoui on the cover. Lindelof with the back pass towards Onana. It was on Jallo from Casemiro. I wonder if the German official will revisit that as the ball no goes out of play, and it will. And Casemiro's shown a yellow card for that late foul.
Yeah, it was definitely late. He just catches Diallo really, really late on that challenge. Diallo's only just getting up now. The play's on the opposite side, but this is where Manchester United are, like you said, Dano, they're on the ropes. Amorim has looked to his bench. It looks like there is activity.
There is. It's going to be a triple change. We're going to see Shaw, Mount and Amad Diallo coming on for Manchester United. Mason Mount, who got that goal at Brentford. Actually the first time that he's scored a goal since his last one, which was actually at Brentford. And Amad, who's been working his way back to fitness, as Jallo is still feeling the effects of that heavy challenge from Casemiro. We're approaching the hour mark, and we still have a fascinating 30 minutes ahead of us here at Old Trafford. Manchester United, though, still in the box seat, courtesy of that 3-goal lead in Bilbao last week. So we wait to see who will come off. As De Galarreta to Hauraguitha. Triangular passing patterns from the Athletic Bilbao players. Out towards Gomez. Has to go onto his toes, takes it high on the chest. Lost the ball, but then Mazraoui puts it out and it goes for a throw. And in fact, when I was saying about they're going to have to finish with the players who started, they're going to make a change for Athletic Bilbao as they're attacking now with a cutback from the left-hand side. And we're going to see Prados, who's a midfielder, and then we're going to see one of the players who's hardly played at all. Olabarrieta, I think, is the player who's going to be coming on as a young forward. He's only made one appearance for the club, the 19-year-old. And that was for 8 minutes a year ago against Sevilla. Cross from the left, comes into the penalty area, and Jallo has absolutely spooned that off his left foot, more like a rugby union conversion, out for a goal kick, it drops. So we're going to have a flurry of activities. In fact, DeMarcos is also going to be coming on. Triple changes being made from both. Who is going to go first with this? Oscar DeMarcos, who scored in both legs against Manchester United in 2012. So DeMarcos comes on for Gorosabel. That's like for like as a right back. De Galarreta has come off as well, and Jarlo. So Prados will replace De Galarreta in the midfield, and then Olabarrieta goes on instead of Jarlo. What about the Manchester United changes, Phil?
Yeah, sensible one for United with Mazraoui coming off on a yellow card. Luke will give you another licence to get forward in attacking transitions quicker than probably Mazraoui would. Mason Mount coming on as well. Amad Diallo, I was wondering how long we'd get from him, but now I'm pleased to see him on 60 minutes.
So Gatti goes off for Mason Mount, and then that final change is going to be Garnacho for Amad Diallo. I can only think about the change for Diallo going off, Olabarrieta coming on, whether the challenge from Casemiro has been almost like a reducer.
Yeah, it could well have been, but he was really looking good. Diallo in this second half, he definitely put Manchester United on the rack, and he did his job. And if it was that challenge from Casemiro, you'll know that Valverde needs the players out there to give everything at 100%.
Well, you can add a good 2, maybe even 3 minutes of added on time for that raft of substitutions that both sides have made. Players back underway. 62 minutes on the clock, Sports Extra, BBC Sounds app, and also live on Radio Manchester. Manchester United 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. But Manchester United lead 3-1 on aggregate. As Shaw waits to take the throw, so he on this left-hand side, Dorgu goes to the right in the absence of Mazraoui, and that's one of the players who's on a yellow card, has been taken off the field of play. We still have Casemiro and Hauri Githa for the home and away sides respectively. As Amad quickly links up with Dorgu on the right, Amad into the area trying to get the shot away, blocked. Well, straight away you can see the energy that he provides with that burst, that acceleration over on the right, linking up with Dorgu. He was lightning as Athletic Bilbao get the ball out wide towards that far side. Gomez. Olabarrieta loses the ball, although the referee has given a free kick to Athletic Bilbao.
Brilliant from Amad, brilliant. That's what you want to see when he comes on. He's lightning quick, he's aggressive, he's so direct, and he's so quick when he stands you up 1v1. Very difficult to stop, but that's more of what you want to see.
64 minutes played. Athletic Bilbao have got this free kick. Just wonder that little bit of innocence, the inexperienced of Olabarrieta. Only his second appearance for the club coming on. There's now this free kick, another flat ball in, and it's headed and attacked very, very well by Unai Nunez. The central defender got it round the back. At first I'm thinking someone's going to go, and then that was creeping goalwards, is it?
I just can't understand how he's free at the back post. Unai Nunez there, he heads it back across goal into an area where if somebody gambles, that's a tap-in. Manchester United get away with it.
Probably closer than Onana thought as well.
I don't know about you, it was closer than I thought. I think this is going to go wide, and then all of a sudden, that was probably a matter of centimetres away from the post.
Yeah, it was a beautiful direction. He watches it the whole way at the far post. He's just totally unmarked, and he's got the ability just to glance that back across goal. And it's very, very close, as you say.
I think United would be really disappointed to concede from a set piece tonight. I don't think they're a very big team, Bilbao, or like I said, very athletic or tall, so I think they'd be really disappointed if they conceded from any set piece.
Tottenham have taken the lead in the Arctic Circle. They lead Bodo Glimt by a 1-0. Dominic Solanke has scored just past the hour, so that is 4-1 on aggregate for Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea still lead a 0-0 on the night. They're going through 5-1 Fiorentina 2, Real Betis 1, so that is 3-3 on aggregate. And Sheffield United still lead Bristol City by 1-0, but remember, Bristol City are down to 10 men with the return to come at Bramall Lane. We'll be doing another update for BBC Radio 5 Live in a moment as we wait to see, and they're going to make another change. Gurutheta is going to be coming on. Gorka Gurutheta is a 28-year-old, 13 games without a goal, 1 goal in his last 24, but he's going to be coming on for Athletic Bilbao. They've got nothing to lose really now. We're getting to that stage as we approach the midway point of the second half. 66 minutes played. Manchester United still trail by 1-0 on the night, but they lead 3-1 on aggregate. Athletic Bilbao are making more attacking changes. They almost got a second. Unai Núñez with a far post header that almost crept in. Amad Diallo is on for Manchester United. 1-0 to the Spanish side on the night, but United lead 3-1 on aggregate. So going off there for Athletic Bilbao was Unai Gomez. So Gorka Gurutheta is a forward for an attacking midfielder. Valverde making the changes, but it's Højlund for Manchester United. Challenge comes in from Yeray. Ball is hit out wide. Sonardi now is the one drifting out towards the left. They've got Gurutheta going through the middle and also Olabarrieta, but they lose the ball. They try and win it back. Actually falls now to the teenager, and Olabarrieta shoots low, left-footed, good, 25 yards out, off target, goal kick.
Yeah, why not? Young lad, come on, you know, short of minutes, but certainly big on confidence. Come into this game, he's already had a few touches in it, he's feeling his way in, and they're just taking that shot from distance. He drags it wide on his left foot, but really good confidence. He definitely knows the assignment.
Must be such a frustrating watch for Manchester United, not knowing what you're going to get. They've been so enigmatic this season, haven't they?
It's been difficult, it really has, but they need to find a way to manage this game and see it out. I still think they'll score on the counter attack when they commit more bodies forward, but they have to really concentrate now.
Well, we've got just over 20 minutes remaining in the company of Izzy Christiansen and Phil Jones here on Sports Extra. Approaching 9:30 this Thursday night. There's just been I think it's Prados who is the player is down, so there is just been a stoppage in play as Onana waits to take the goal kick for Manchester United. And waiting for the referee's go ahead, and there is the referee's shrill of his whistle as Onana strikes it right-footed downfield. Gets distance on it, flicked on by Casemiro for the header by Højlund. Amad tussling with the ball, good footwork, runs into straight away though De Marcos, who will clear, the veteran defender. Scored in both legs when Athletic Bilbao beat Manchester United twice in 2012. Bruno Fernandes chips it forward, Luke Shaw coming across though was Yeray, and Yeray will clear the ball away for Athletic Bilbao. Runs straight through towards Yoro. Yoro's forward ball. Højlund has got his defender all over the back of him. Referee though has played the advantage, and Yoro, he forces Amad out wide. The referee tried to let the game flow. Amad right hand side of the area, back towards Yoro. Yoro tees up Bruno Fernandes, first time shot right footed, blocked by the legs of Howard Aguitha. Runs out towards this near side. It's a Manchester United throw. All of a sudden now just takes the weight off the pressure of their defenders.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's exactly who you want on the edge of the box. They work the ball wide onto the right. Amad Diallo's come on, and you can feel the electricity inside the stadium increasing when he gets on the ball. He finds Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the box via Lenny Yoro, and that's exactly who you want in that situation. Bruno Fernandes, but it gets blocked.
20 minutes remain. There has always been that sense of drama and jeopardy throughout this European campaign. Who will ever forget that memorable victory against Lyon? And they don't want to be revisiting that just as yet. And the referee appeals for handball against Lindelof, waved away. And Casemiro now will spread play out towards Dorgu, who heads it in field but straight towards Berenguer. They play the ball back. And now an opportunity to pass the ball forward, and this is with Bachiche, who goes down under the challenge. And Bruno Fernandes links up now with Højlund, and the Manchester United captain drives with the ball at the heart of the Athletic Bilbao defence and out towards Shaw. Shaw's cross won't reach Dorgu. It's cleared away instead over on that far side by Berenguer, who was back there helping out. Manchester United though with Ahmed, away from Berenguer. Ahmed right hand side with a cross. On the stretch was Mason Mount, couldn't get there. Inadvertently guides it into the path of Shaw. Yoro cries of shoot, edge of the area, goes into the penalty area. Mason Mount! What a turn and shot! What a finish by Mason Mount! And Manchester United are heading back to Bilbao. What a finish! That surely should settle it. Manchester United won, Athletic Bilbao won. Manchester United lead 4-1 in aggregate.
Wow. All I can say is he needed that.
Manchester United have just equalised with 18 minutes remaining, and like Tottenham Hotspur, lead by 4-1 on aggregate. And Mason Mount, who only scored his first goal of the season at Brentford at the weekend, with a lovely turn and shot, right-footed, curling past Aguirre Zabala.
It's an absolutely exquisite finish for Mason Mount. He's just celebrating with the fans because that is such a big goal for him and for this football club. He arrives into the box, he receives it on the second phase, and the turn and the finish is simply exquisite. A moment of pure brilliance in a tight area. The first touch, wow, and then he just finds that far corner. It's absolutely delightful.
Ali, Old Trafford is buzzing, and they're heading back to Bilbao. Phil Jones, what a finish.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Lenny Yoro does terrific, to be fair, and it's a great turn and finish by Mason Mount. But I think the three subs, Mount, Diallo and Luke Shaw, have really injected a real, much more of a tempo to the game now, and they deserve the goal.
Tottenham have since doubled their lead in Norway. Pedro Porro, so they're leading 2-0 on the night. Brentford was his first start since mid-December, but his goal on Sunday was his first since March 2024 against Brentford, and all of a sudden now he's scored 2 in 2, and Manchester United have levelled on the night but have restored their 3-goal cushion, and the Manchester United supporters now are not feeling jittery anymore. There is an air of celebration inside Old Trafford as Athletic Bilbao almost got a goal as it was played in. The outstretched legs of Gurutheta put it wide, but it silenced the travelling support. Everybody knows now, is it?
Yeah, you can feel it. Phil's spot on. You could feel the momentum shift with those players coming on. Diallo, who's a fan favourite, Mason Mount, who's starting to gather some form and some momentum, and my word, what a way to announce yourself. Mason Mount, a player who I really do admire. I think he's fantastic. He just needs consistency, and that goal will have done him absolute wonders.
He's been ravaged with injuries, frustration, but even when Gareth Southgate was picking him for England, he's always had that quality, hasn't he? Which you'll know so well.
Yeah, he's got loads of ability. I'm really pleased for him. He's been out for a while. He's finding his feet. He's trying to get that rhythm of games and the continuity, and he's got so much ability, and I'm sure I'm sure you'll see the best out of him towards the end of the season and definitely next season. Terrific goal.
Certainly was. We've had 2 great goals here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Athletic Bilbao 1. 15 minutes remaining. Saturday's football on 5 Live. Southampton, Manchester City is the commentary at 3, to be followed by Bournemouth against Aston Villa at 5:30. And on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, Nottingham Forest Leicester at 2:15, Liverpool Arsenal to follow that at 4:30. But Manchester United, I know so many who've already booked their tickets to get to Bilbao, and some of them are going through some rather bizarre ways as well, whether it be through Tenerife or a train from Madrid. There might have been a time when those plans were thinking, ooh, not any longer. So they'll be...
The Tenerife one sounds good.
It does, doesn't it?
I prefer Benidorm.
I might try that one myself. 1-1. And less than a quarter of an hour remaining. Certainly you can feel the change in atmosphere, can't you?
Yeah, you can. They really, really needed it. And, you know, just to sort of stamp the authority, it's interesting. I was just thinking there, 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And this is just like a case study for Manchester United to try and work out how to see a game out. How can they use the ball now in these moments just to completely suck the life out of Athletic Bilbao and just do a professional job and finish strong.
Well, I mentioned those games on 5 Live as well. There are other offerings. Manchester United West Ham will be on Sports Extra at 2:15. Spurs against Crystal Palace will be on the BBC Sport website at the same time. Manchester United, who looking to protect that unbeaten run in Europe this season. They might be struggling in the Premier League. 16 Premier League defeats, the same since the 89-90 season when they finished 13th, a season when they found silverware. They might still find silverware this season, as Sonari has a shot that is blocked, but all the jeopardy's gone now. You can feel it. There's been a release inside the stadium, hasn't there?
Yeah, it's game over. I'll be amazed if Bilbao can get another one. They've done well to get the goal. They needed it, but I knew it was coming.
Here is Berenguer, picks it up, loses it, and then played out by Lindelof towards Bruno Fernandes. Berenguer has stayed down. Whilst Phil quite rightly says that the substitutions that Manchester United have made have given them a lift and provided a bit of a spark and seem to have strengthened them, as Dorgu comes forward from the goal scorer Mason Mount and finds Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes tries to slide it, blocked. Athletic Bilbao just seem to have lost all sort of their rhythm with their substitutions.
Yeah, they have. They've just looked a little bit disjointed in these last 5 or 10 minutes, and they don't really have a reply right now. I'd safely say I'd sit in Phil's camp with this one here, that this, unless an utter catastrophe occurs, is job done.
Manchester United have been awarded a free kick, and it is a yellow card that has been shown to Unai Núñez over on that far side. So the central defender is the second player to be booked from Athletic Bilbao. And Manchester United wait to take that free kick almost right corner of the penalty area with 12 minutes remaining. At the end of the game on Sports Extra, we'll join the coverage on 5 Live. Mark Chapman then will steer us through until 10:30 with reflections on this night of European football. In fact, Berenguer has also been shown a yellow card. The midfielder, as Manchester United are looking to make further changes, and the youngster Amas is looking like he's going to be coming on as Manchester United wait to take the throw. Young Harry Amas. But this free kick right side of the penalty area, 1-1 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. Mason Mount, stunning equaliser. Bruno Fernandes waits to take it. So 2 Athletic Bilbao players booked there. As in it comes now, fired in, and it goes in. Casemiro got the touch of the near post. He scored in Bilbao in the first leg. He scored in the second leg. And Bilbao beckons for Manchester United. They've turned it around. They lead Athletic Bilbao by 2-1. Casemiro with a header from a Bruno Fernandes free kick.
Yeah, it's clean, it's tidy, and it's classy from Casemiro. The delivery from Bruno Fernandes makes it happen, but Casemiro is there to guide it. He glances the header. He knows exactly what he's doing. He attacks the front post space. He gets enough on the glance, and it loops over into the back of the Bilbao net. Massive goal, again, needed.
What's that, Phil? 2 goals in the space of 8 minutes has transformed Old Trafford.
And that's what this place can do to you. Now, the 3 subs have literally changed the game. They've changed the tempo, they've been direct, they've been positive, and they really have changed the game. And, you know, since so many teams come here and nick a goal and they get a bit of a lifeline, and before you know it, in 5 minutes, in a flash of a pan, you're 2-1 down.
A ducking header by Casemiro, guiding the ball in. Manchester United lead 2-1 on the night, and they're heading to the final in Bilbao. And now we can see changes being made. Harry Amas is going to be coming on. Kobbie Mainoo is going to be coming on. It's Lindelof who's going to be going off the field of play. And Casemiro, who has been criticised and derided in certain quarters, with the goal.
Yeah, he's been a mainstay. You know, he's played a lot under Amorim. He relies on him. Is he the future bulletproofing option in the midfield for Amorim? I'd probably say no, but he's doing a job, and you can see what that means to him. He has helped this team get into a Europa League final by the looks of it.
And he gets a terrific ovation as he leaves, and Menu is on, as is Amas. They've made the 5 changes, but the reaction of the Athletic Bilbao players said it all. You know, even when the equaliser had gone in, it was game over for them. But now they're facing a defeat, and only for the 3rd time in their European history to lose home and away in a European knockout tie. But for Manchester United, heading to the final, an all-English affair against Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating. 2 teams that have had so many parallels this season in the Premier League, going at it in Bilbao in a final.
And looking for more goals now as Ahmed runs forward. Talking of United, Sheffield United have doubled their lead at Bristol City, so they lead 2-0 in that Championship playoff first leg. Bristol City, remember, down to 10 men since the end of the first half. Spurs are 2-0 up away in Norway. Chelsea are up by a 1-0, and Fiorentina Real Betis could be going to extra time, because Fiorentina are leading 2-1 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate. But just over 7 minutes remaining, and Manchester United in their 18th European semi-final are on course for what will be their 9th European final in their history. And Tottenham Hotspur will await them in the beautiful city of Bilbao. And then all of a sudden comes the scramble for tickets, because they've only been allocated 14,770. When you consider that the ground holds just over 53,000, although it's slightly reduced to 49,600, as Ahmed picks up the ball and is away. And running forward now for Manchester United, Mason Mount, delightful little flick. This is Amas. Amas tried to come on the inside, he still kept it alive. You could see the confidence oozing through Mason Mount, running forward with just that little flick to help it on its way. Here is Amas once again. And all of a sudden, Manchester United, who struggled to create in the first half, transformed now.
Ahmad and Mason Mount have been absolutely magnificent since they've come on. Everything's coming through them. They can't live with them. They're popping up in all sorts of different positions. Absolutely terrific from the pair of them.
And now the Olays, and Dorgu comes into the penalty area. His shot is a weak one. Saved by the goalkeeper, Arita Balaga.
It's easy when you're 5-1 up on aggregate just to pop the ball around. This is what they need to do, even when the games are tight. Have the confidence to see games out.
Hoyland tried to roll away off his marker. The referee says there was no foul as he went to ground. Sheffield United have got a 3rd goal against the 10 men of Bristol City. Without wanting to tempt fate, you would think that they would be in the Championship playoff final at the end of the month. Manchester United and Tottenham are definitely bound for Bilbao. There is no dispute about that. They were letting off the fireworks outside the Tottenham team hotel, the Bodo Glimt ultras. Who knew that such a thing would exist in the Arctic Circle? But that has fallen a little flat. Nothing to disrupt Ange Postecoglou to set up an enticing all-English affair. Yoro leads the charge, running at the heart of the Athletic Bilbao defence. Dorgu to Ahmed. Ahmed on the right-hand side. Tapping for Hoyland. Manchester United ripping through Athletic Bilbao and heading to the final with a real air of confidence. Hard to think that they're 1-0 down and stuttering. They now lead by 3-1, 6-1 on aggregate. Manchester United lead Athletic Bilbao by 3-1. Amad Diallo has come on and has transformed Manchester United, charging away down the right-hand side, and Hoyland presented with a little flick finish from close range. They've even got time to pose for a selfie.
Yeah, they've taken a little bit like Mo Salah did against Tottenham when they clinched the Premier League title at Anfield. Similar sort of situation here. A fan has given Ahmed a phone And Højlund, Ahmed and the rest of the players are gathering round, celebrating. Easy finish for Højlund, but huge input from Ahmed on that right-hand side.
Amad Diallo's single-handedly changed the game by himself. The pace that he runs and he commits defenders at, he's a nightmare to defend against. For a fullback who's getting stood up against him, so difficult to stop when he's running at speed.
Højlund's only his third goal in his 31st appearance for Manchester United. They now lead Athletic Bilbao 3-1 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. That was for the benefit of BBC Radio 5 Live with that update. But what is that? That is 3 goals. I'm going to have to work out the maths. I didn't make a note of the timing of that goal. 3 goals in about 14 minutes.
About right, Dano?
Yeah,
very nice. I don't know how you do it with all your sticky labels in front of you, and it's like a stationery shop here.
It is a staggering turnaround, though, isn't it?
It is. They've done so well, and obviously conceding that goal in the first half, it really did intensify the game. But Manchester United have done a very professional job in the second half, and Phil's spot on. The guys that came on, Mount, Shaw, Diallo, they've just added a new level of intensity to the match, and it's destroyed Bilbao in the end.
They haven't been able to live with Manchester United, have they, Bilbao?
No, they've been terrific in the last 20 minutes, Man United. They've pressed better, they've passed the ball with a purpose, they've been positive in the play, and the 3 players like we've just touched on have been magnificent since they come on.
So Spurs 2-0 up, going through 5-1 on aggregate. Manchester United 3-1 up on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. And the 2 clubs will fight it out for a place in the Champions League. We can say there will be 6 sides in Europe's elite competition now next season as a result. Just looking back as to when they came on, Mason Mount, Shaw and Amad Diallo. It was around the 62nd minute. So it took them 10 minutes to get the first goal. And then since then, it has just been all Manchester United. And that third goal going in. So it was 3 goals in 13 minutes for Manchester United.
You were close with your estimate of 14 minutes.
Well, I'd written down 86, which was my error. So the maths was correct. It was just the information that wasn't. There's a yellow card against Sinardi. And for their supporters who have filled the streets with their red and white scarves in the build-up to this semi-final second leg, they're extremely quiet now, Athletic Bilbao. We've got about 90 seconds remaining of normal time. Winners in 2017 of this competition, runners-up 4 years later, heading for another final. And in fact, Manchester United will be the 7th team to reach a Europa League final unbeaten. Benfica, when Amorim was a player actually in 2014, one of those sides, Leverkusen, the last year. Manchester United could still salvage their season with silverware. Here is Yoro. Because up until those 3 goals, I think the only effort they created really was the Garnacho one before half-time. That's how much all of a sudden the impact that they've made. And they've just been like watching a different side. Ruben Amorim did say he wondered which United team would turn up. We've got a cavalier one at the moment. They're looking for more goals. Just stepping out of defence was Bachiche. 2 minutes of added on time. And then you'll hear the final whistle. And Manchester United. The reaction, by the way, we're on air till 10:30. The reaction from Ruben Amorim will be on the 5 Live Football Daily, the feed, the podcast that will be available tomorrow. But Manchester United going through. And another yellow card was shown. That was Dorgu, who was just booked by the German referee. Out it goes to this near side, but Amas is there. He hits it downfield. Hoyland, to his confidence. Oh, that's a poor clearance. Mason Mount will go goalwards. Mason Mount! Oh, that's outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. The goalkeeper came out of his penalty area. His clearance straight towards Mason Mount, who was probably about 6 yards inside the Athletic Bilbao half, and he hit it left-footed into an empty net. Mason Mount, not quite a David Beckham a la Selhurst Park all those years ago, but Aretha Balaga was out of his goal, out of his penalty area. His clearance went straight to Mason Mount on the left-hand side, probably about 6 yards inside the Athletic Bilbao half. He hit it straight away, flat ball into an empty net, and Manchester United with an outrageous goal now lead 4-1.
It's simply sensational for Mason Mount. He's cheeky, you know, he's got a cheeky smile on his face now. 2 goals in this game since coming on. What a finish.
Effortless. The way he brought the ball down, weak foot, left foot, drilled it straight over the defender into the back of the net. 45, 40 yards out, brilliant.
One touch with the right foot and then a left-footed effort pinged into the back of the net, and Manchester United lead 4-1 on the night. And again, another update for BBC Radio 5 Live. The touches and the quality that he's shown, not just with his goals, but the flick, the finish, as some of them thought that was the final whistle. And in fact, it is the final whistle as the cameraman enters, and straight away the cameras are trained on Mason Mount, because the changes made such an impact, and Manchester United, at times where it felt they might have been struggling, have breezed their way to Bilbao.
Yeah, Mason Mount deserves that, and the players, they showed their quality, especially in the second half. They withstood a bit of a storm in the first half, but this is so big for Manchester United to be in the Europa League final, a professional performance, and they have got an exciting final ahead against Tottenham.
It's clear that the changes made such an impact.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it before the game that they were going to have to suffer in certain moments, and they did, especially in the second half when Bilbao really came and they were really aggressive in the way they pressed, and they couldn't get out for the first 5-10 minutes of the second half. But United will always get chances at Old Trafford, especially when there was going to be more spaces in behind to exploit, and they did just that. The 3 subs made an incredible impact, and Mason Mount and Amad Diallo, I thought they were terrific.
Manchester United then are in their 9th European final, and they are only the 7th side to reach a Europa League final unbeaten throughout the whole campaign. They've come from behind and they have beaten Athletic Bilbao by 4 goals to 1.